In this session, we are going to cover two node cluster of the WebSphere. Okay, so two node cluster. Okay, so let me first show you the architecture, what exactly we are going to execute here, and along with that, I will explain the exact action plan. Okay, and once it is clear to you, then I will jump into the execution. So it's very simple. We will have two servers, server 1 and server 2. Okay, and both will be part of the same cluster, and then we will have a DMGR, okay, which is going to manage both of your WebSphere application servers, right? So similarly, whatever the process that we are going to follow, if you have more than one instances, or you can say more than one node in the cluster, you can follow the same process what I am going to follow here for the two node cluster. Okay, so we will have a two separate nodes, so that means we will have two machines. This is the node 1 and this will be your node 2. Okay, so we will have one app server here. Okay, and then we will have one app server here in node 2, and these both will be part of the cluster, right? And then on node 1 we will have the DMGR as well, and this DMGR is going to control both of your servers, right? So that means node 1 will contain a DMGR, along with that one application server. Node 2 will contain only the one application server, right? So for this we are going to use the custom profile, right? So we know about this profile, we have discussed a lot about this in the previous sessions. Okay, so custom profile is just a blank profile that basically we use when we configure the cluster node in the WebSphere. Okay, so the first we will create a DMGR profile for the DMGR in node 1, right? And after that we are going to create a custom profile on node 1 for application server node 1. Okay, and then again we will create a custom profile for node 2, right? So once the profile has been created for DMGR and then your application servers on both nodes, so we'll start the DMGR. Okay, and then we are going to federate this custom profile, or you can say the node, okay, to the DMGR, right? We do the federation so that your DMGR now can manage your application server instances, right? So after creating your custom profiles, we will federate it to the DMGR. Once the federation is completed, then we'll create a cluster which will contain two servers, server 1 and server 2. This server 1 will be on node 1 and server 2 will be on node 2. Okay, and once it is done, then we'll see how we can start and stop the cluster. So that means if we are going to start and stop the cluster, that means then each and every server which we have in the cluster will automatically get started and stop when we go with the cluster option. Along with that, you have option to start and stop the individual server as well, right? So if you don't want to go with the cluster option, you want to go to start or stop some specific server in the cluster, then we will see that command as well. Okay, and most importantly, all this setup we are going to perform with the CLI, that means command line interface. Okay, because graphical user interface is very straightforward process. Okay, and many of the time we do a lot of kind of automations, and then we do not allow the graphical user interface admin console access to all. Okay, so in that case you can do the automation, or you can use the command line interface or the resource configuration. Okay, so that means everything we are going to execute with the help of CLI, command line interface, right? So this is the net architecture that we are going to create, and let me quickly show you the action plan, okay, that we are going to follow. So this is the complete end-to-end action plan with the command which you can download from the resource section. Okay, so I have copy pasted this in the Word document as well, okay, to mark it properly. So let me explain you the action plan. So this is the architecture that we have discussed. This is our node 1, which will contain one DMGR, along with that one application server, and this is our node 2, which will contain only one application server, right? And this application server 1 and application server 2 will be part of a single cluster, right? So before that execution, we need to make sure that the WebSphere is installed in our all the nodes, right? So we have two nodes here, so that means we need to install the WebSphere in both of the nodes. Okay, so we have covered this in detail, right, in the previous sessions where we have learned about the different ways of installation of WebSphere. So there we have completed all these exercises in detail, right? What are the different arguments that we pass when we install? So I am just going to skip this one. I'm not going to explain this again. This is a very straightforward process for installation. Okay, and we'll start from here. Create DMGR profile. So first we are going to create a DMGR profile. Okay, this is a command. Again, we have learned in the profile section how to create the DMGR from the command line. Okay, we are going to use the manage profile script that bundled with the WebSphere, and then we'll provide the profile name. Then we'll specify a path for the profile. Then the template, which will be the management template because we are going to create the DMGR profile. Then we have to specify the node name, cell name, host name. Okay, and then we are going to enable the security. So we have to specify the username and password if we are going to enable the security. So by this way we are going to create a DMGR profile, and once the DMGR profile is created, we are going to start it with the help of start manager command, right? So this is the first part where we will install the DMGR, or you can say we will create the DMGR profile, right? After that we have to create the custom profiles on the both node, right? So again we are going to use the manage profile command to create the custom profile. So we'll provide the profile name, we'll provide a path for the profile, then we are going to use a template, and then we are going to specify the node name, what will be the name for the node, and the host name, or you can say the IP address or DNS name of the machine in which you are going to install or in which we are going to create this custom profile, right? So once the custom profile is created, right, after that we need to federate it to the DMGR, right? So for federation we have the command add node. So with the help of this add node we are going to federate our this custom profile with the DMGR that we have created, right? So command is add node .sh or .bat in the Windows, then IP address of your DMGR, then the port for the DMGR, username and password. So by this way our custom profile on server 1, or we can say on node 1, will be get created and it will be federated to the DMGR. Okay, so after that node agent will start automatically. You don't need to start manually. Okay, you can check the status of that. Now after that, similar way, just like you have created the custom profile 1, you have to go to the node 2, and in node 2 as well you have to create the custom profile. Again the custom profile, the syntax will be same. Okay, the manage profile we are going to use profile name and a profile path, the template that we are going to use, the node name and the host name. So here you to specify the second host IP address, okay, and whatever the name that you want for the node in the second node, correct? So now once this is done, again we are going to federate this to the node your DMGR. Again we are going to use the add node command with the IP address of your DMGR. This should be the DMGR IP address 8883 or whatever the port that is utilized in your environment, username and password. So by this way we are going to federate our custom profile, right? So what we have done so far, we have created the DMGR profile, right? And then after that we have created the custom profile 1, and then we have created a custom profile 2, and the both profiles we have federated to the DMGR, correct? So after that we have to create the cluster and the cluster members. Okay, so we will use WSA admin utility for that. Okay, so first we will create the cluster. For cluster you have an object which is called the admin task dot create cluster. Okay, so this is one of the object that we specify in the command line to create the different kind of resources in your WebSphere. So this is going to create a cluster with the name of my cluster. Okay, and after creating we have to save it. Okay, admin config and then save. So this admin task, admin config, these are the different kind of objects, or you can say these are the inbuilt script in the WebSphere which we can utilize to configure different kind of resources. Okay, and again we can validate when the cluster is ready. You can validate with this, with the help of this particular command, right? So by this way we will create the cluster. Okay, so once the cluster is ready, we are going to create the cluster member, right? So suppose this is our cluster which we have created. Now we would like to add the member to this cluster, right? So for that we are going to create server 1 and server 2. This server 1 will be part of node 1 and this server 2 will be part of node 2. So node 1 and node 2 means my virtual machine or the physical server whatever I have. Okay, so to add the member, we need three different variables to be defined: cluster, node, and member config. In the cluster, we have to specify the name of the cluster. In the node, we have to specify the node name. And in the member config, we have to specify the name of the member. And then we can run the admin config.create cluster member. Okay, so admin config is the object that we are going to use, and with the help of that, create cluster member to create the member of the cluster, and then we are going to specify all the parameters here. And by this way, we will create the member one, which is the server one. Okay, which will be part of your cluster. Okay, once it is done, you can save the configuration with the help of dot save, right? Similarly, you can create the second member as well. Okay, the is exactly the same way like we have created the first member, admin.config get id. This we are going to get the cluster, and here we have to specify the second node name, and then we have to specify the member name. We are going to specify server2, and then we are going to run this create cluster member command. Okay, so by this way, it is going to create a second server2, which will be part of the node 02. Right, so this is the way how we are going to differentiate your members on which node actually it is going to run. For second member, we have given the node 02. Okay, and if I show you for the first member, we have given the node 01. Okay, let me show you that as well. So this is a node 01, right? So this server is going to create on node 01, right? And let me scroll down. Okay, hold on, let me. Okay, so here this is the node 02 and server 2, right? Then we can save the configuration, and then we can validate it with the help of dot list command. Okay, it is going to list all the nodes, right? And you can validate individual node as well with the help of this particular command. You can specify the individual node, right? And then you can validate from console as well if the your corresponding servers are created or not, right? And after that, we have a command to start the cluster. So this is the command. This is to start the cluster, where we have to specify the admin control object, and with admin control object, we have to specify the invoke function. Okay, inside the invoke function, okay, we have to specify the name of the cluster and then start. Okay, so by this way, it is going to start your cluster. That means it is going to start your server 1 and server 2 both, which is part of your cluster. And this is a command with dot get attribute to check the status of your cluster, right? Similarly, if you would like to check the status of individual server, or maybe you would like to stop one of the individual server, not the complete cluster, so these are the command. Again, you have to use the admin control object, right? And with the admin control object, if you are going to check the status, you have to run the query names. If you are going to start or stop your servers, okay, then you have to specify the server name here. Okay, and similarly, if I think, okay, hold on, I think this is wrong. This is not the correct one. This is the correct one to start the server. So this is the object name. And now, because we are going to start our server here, so we have to specify the start server. Okay, and the server name, and in which node this server is running. Similarly, if you would like to start the second server, you can go with the admin control object and then start server function, and then specify the server name like server 2, which is on the node 2, right? And similarly, you can invoke the stop command as well. So by this way, you can start, stop, or check the status of individual server rather than the complete cluster, right? So this is the net action plan that we are going to follow to set up these two node cluster of the WebSphere, right? So now let us begin with the execution. So first I will install the WebSphere on both of my nodes. Okay, so although we have covered this in detail in the previous multiple sessions, okay, so I will explain it again. So first I will log into my nodes. So this is my first node on the AWS machine. Okay, so let me log into first node, EC2-user. Okay, so here my installation manager is there, okay, inside the folder WAS agent. Okay, so because we are going to install from the command line, so we are going to use the IMCL utility, which is here inside tools, right? So this is the utility of the installation manager that we are going to use for the installation of your WebSphere, right? So the first thing I will check for the available packages, okay, and this is the repository link that you can refer for the particular repository of the product that you are going to install. So we are going for the DMGR, that means the ND, network deployment. So this is the URL for the repository of the ND, network deployment. Okay, you can go to this particular URL and here you will find the particular link of the corresponding repository. Okay, so whatever the product that you would like to install, with the help of installation manager, for that you can see the available packages from here. So now specifically we are installing the network deployment. Okay, so the command we are going to run is to list available packages and then repository link. Okay, so I am inside the tools folder of my installation manager. So here I am going to run the IMCL list available packages. Okay, so here in the command I have given the hyphen prompt. Okay, that means it is going to prompt me for the username and password of the IBM website. Okay, here you can specify your free account that you have created on the IBM. If you do not have, you can just go to IBM website and create your free account. Okay, and that username and password you can use here to list the available packages. And once we'll run the installation, for that also you have to specify the username and password. Okay, so let me run it as // because this is a Linux. Okay, so it will take some time, okay, to connect to your repository. So the first option is provide credentials and connect. So for that we have to specify the P, then we have to give the username. Let me specify my username, digitalk.fmw at gmail.com, and then the password. Okay, and if you think it is good, you can press O for OK and just press enter. Okay, and then it will list all the current packages, okay, that is there in your particular repository. Okay, you can say these are the packages for your JDK, Java JDK, right? Similarly, if you want to install the base version of your WebSphere, this is the base versions. Okay, and similarly the plugins and some other softwares are also there. So we are specifically going for the network deployment installer. So the current one is 1850, or this is the current one, okay, which you need to specify here, right? So I think this is the correct one, which we are using the latest one. So let me again copy and replace it, right? And this is the JDK that is going to be installed, which is with the 1317. Let me see what is the current one. Yeah, this is the current one, 1317. So you can replace this here, and this is your repository link. This is the installation directory where I am going to install, and along with that we have to specify some directory for the shared contents. Okay, then accept license and then show progress and then hyphen prompt, right? So I am going to run this command. So this is on Linux, so I have to specify // right? So let me take this command and I'm going to specify here. Okay, let me see the error. A package cannot be found in the specified repository. It is saying the package cannot not found. Let me see why it is saying like this one. So the package for ND was, yeah, this was the package, and I have used the same package here. Oh, I think I have given the space here. Okay, let me give it. It is correct, com.ibm. Anyway, what I will do now, so instead of running it in the multiple lines, I am going to make it in a single line. So I am going to off the word wrap, okay, and I am going to run it in a single line. Let me see if it is make any difference here. This is the repository. Okay, so I think I was giving some wrong syntax here. Okay, anyway, let me now run it. Okay, so now it is going to connect to the repository. So we have to give the P for username and password. So let me specify my username digitalk.fmw at gmail.com and then password. Then O for OK. Okay, so now you can see the installation has begun. Okay, it is connected to the repository and now it is downloading your software directly from the repository. Okay, now it is saying your user or group ID has insufficient permissions granted. Okay, so I do not have the sufficient permission for this particular user. So what I can do in that case, I can run the same command again and let me try with the sudo. Okay, sudo. Okay, because an EC2 instance machine and I do not have proper privileges for the default EC2 user, that's why I'm getting the error. So let me try with the sudo. Okay, digitalk.fmw at gmail.com. Okay, if you are not on AWS and you have some your inbuilt Linux machine where you have proper access to your users, okay, then you will not get this error. Okay, you don't need to specify sudo there. So specifically, if you are executing this on the AWS machine which you have created fresh, okay, then you can specify the sudo with the command. Okay, so now it has begun the installation of the WebSphere. So now in parallel, what I will do, I need installation on the second machine as well. So I will just quickly log into my second machine and I will follow the same process there as well. Okay, this is the IP address of my machine. So I will open a new session. Okay, and then open EC2-user. Okay, so here I'm going to install in this WAS node to directory. This is a shared folder and this is the agent folder where I have the agent. I will go inside the tools. Okay, here I have initial utility. So here I am not going to run the list command again, list packages again, because this is same. So now I have to run this command for the installation on the second node. So what I will do, I will quickly make it in a single line. So okay, so only difference is here the path where we want to install, right? And along with that, this is the shared path if it is different for you on the second node, right? Otherwise everything is same, right? So let me take this command and quickly run it on the second server as well. Okay, so again, based on your internet speed and then configuration, it may take some time to connect the repository and to download the software. So specify P. Okay. digitalk.fmw at gmail.com. Oh. Okay, so node 1 installation is in progress. Because we are doing the installation in the online mode, right? So it is connected to the repository at the online, right? And then it is trying to download the software, and after download it is going to install in a certain location which we have specified in the installation directory, right? So it is going to take some time. So let me see second node. Okay, now it is started on the second node as well. Okay, so I'm going to pause this video just to save the length of this video. Okay, once it is installed, I will resume the video and explain you. Okay, now you can see the installation has been completed. So I will quickly go inside the directory and I will verify. Okay, WAS node 1. Okay, this is EC2 home and then WAS node 1. So now here you can see the installation has been completed successfully on node 1 and it is in progress on the second node. So till it gets installed on the second node, I will proceed for the first node. So what is the next action plan once the installation is completed? First we have to create the DMGR profile. So I'm going to create the DMGR profile on node 1, right? So this is a command which we have understand in the theoretical session just some time back, right? So I have taken this command here in a single line. Okay, and I'm going to execute it to create Okay, it is not taking the manage profile. So what I will do, I will try to remove. Um, okay, I will remove this sudo and I will try without sudo because this is going to create the profile. So let me see if it is working. Sorry, my bad. I have to go inside the bin directory. Okay, so let me run it again. Sudo // and then manage profile, and then I am going to create DMGR profile first. So along with this DMGR, we will create one custom profile on this node. So we will have the one application server on this node, and along with that we will have the second server on the second node, right? So creating the profiles are completely independent. So I have initiated the creation of DMGR profile. So what I will do, I will quickly create a duplicate session and I will initiate the custom profile as well. Okay, because these are completely independent till we federated, right? So I will log in here. Okay, and then sorry, let me see what was the folder name. Okay, I have given it ec2-user then home. So let me go inside here, then bin. So what I will do, I will execute the command to create the custom profile on this first node as well. Okay, so I am going to execute this in parallel so that my profile will be created. Okay, both profile will created the parallelly. Okay, now you can see the DMGR profile has been created here, and here the custom profile is in progress. So let me check the status of my DMGR. Okay, now DMGR has been started successfully. So I will try to log into my DMGR console. So for that I will take the public DNS of my machine node 1. Okay, then port 9060 IBM and then console. Okay, so I can able to access the IBM console. So let me log in with the username and password, WAS admin, and then WAS admin 123. Okay, so now we have configured the DMGR profile, right? It is up and running, and let me see for the custom node 1 profile. It is also created. Now we can see custom 1 profile is created. So now we need a custom second custom profile on node 2, right? So for that, let me take the command to create the profile. Okay, and this I need to run on the second node. This is my second node, right? So what I have done so far, let me quickly tell you. We have installed the WebSphere in both of the nodes. After the installation, we have created the DMGR profile and custom profile 1 on the node 1, right? And now we are creating the custom profile 2 on the node 2, right? So till it is in progress, let me show you the next plan. So once our custom profile is created, we need to federate it with the DMGR, correct? So as of now, our second profile, okay, now second profile is also created, right? So now we need to federate the both custom profile to our DMGR, correct? So I will run the command add node in that case, and this add node need to be run inside the profile bin folder. So here my what is my profile name? Let me see, custom 01, and then I will go to the bin. Okay, so here I have a command called add node.sh, right? So this I need to run, and I have to specify the IP address of the DMGR, and this is the SOA port of the DMGR. So let me first quickly check what is the SOA port of my DMGR. So for that I will go to the logs folder of my DMGR, and then I will check for the about this profile, and the SOA port is 8879, right? So I'm going to change it 8879 here, and same for the second custom profile, which is 8879. Okay, so first I will have to specify sudo. Okay, and this I am going to run on the node 1 to federate my custom profile 1 to the DMGR. So this is my node 1 and I'm inside the custom profile bin folder, and I'm going to run the command add a node, okay, to federate. Similarly, I have to go to the second node, and here I have to go to my custom profile and bin folder, right? And here again I have to run the same command which I have given here as well. Okay, let me specify the sudo and dot slash as well. Right, so both are going to be federated to the same DMGR, so we have to specify the same DMGR IP address and so port here. So let me specify here and then let me run it on the second node. So what we are doing the federation of the custom profile, or you can say the node agent of my custom profile with the DMGR. So this is my node 1. So you can see the federation has been completed for the custom profile 1, and now it is the federation is going on the second node. Okay, so specifically when you are working on the different machines, you have to make sure the ports and connectivities are open between the machine, right? So here we have this is node 2, which is going to connect to the DMGR which is running on node 1. So you have to make sure that your connectivity is open between the machines. If your connectivity is not open, then your this node agent will not able to contact DMGR and your federation may get fail. Okay, you can run the curl command or ping command to check the connectivity of the port and the machines, right? So now our federation has been completed, right? That means this is the node 1 custom profile federation which is completed. This is the custom profile 2 federation which is also completed, correct? So we have completed a major part of our architecture, where we have installed the WebSphere on both the nodes. Then we have created the DMGR profile on node 1. We have started and validated the DMGR services. Then we have created a custom profile on both of the nodes, custom profile 1 and custom profile 2, and we have federated our custom profile to the DMGR, right? So after that we have to create the clusters. Now before that, let me go to the console and then let me check few things here. So I will go to the system administration and then nodes. Okay, so this is the default node, cell manager 0 node 1, and you can see here the node 0 and node 0 are visible here, correct? Because we have now federated these particular node agents with the DMGR, so they are visible on the console as well, right? But as of now we don't have any servers here, because as of now we have just created the DMGR and then 2 custom profiles, and we have federated the node agent with the DMGR only. We have not created any of the cluster, we have not created any of the server. So that means as of now we do not have any cluster, and as of now I do not have any servers in my DMGR, right? It is completely blank. So the next action plan is we have to create a cluster, and then we are going to create the member of the cluster. That means 2 servers. The first server is on node 1 and second server is on node 2, correct? So for that I will go to my DMGR machine again, and I have to go to the bin folder of my DMGR profile. Okay, and then here I have to connect with the help of CLI. Sorry, I have to give sudo dot slash. Okay, WSA admin command I am going to use. So it is going to connect to your DMGR. Okay, so it is connected to our DMGR, right? So now we need to create a cluster. So this is the command to create the cluster, which we have explained in the theory session. So I'm going to directly execute it to create the cluster. Okay, now you can see it is executed successfully and the created cluster has been created. We can save the configuration first. Okay, and then we can validate the cluster information which is created. Okay, now you can see the my cluster has been successfully created, which can able to see here, right? So we have created the cluster. Now we have to create the cluster member. So member 1 and member 2, member 1 belong to will going to belong to node 1, and the member 2, which is server 2, going to belong to node 2, right? So we have to define 3 variables. This is the cluster, and this is the node, because this is going to be part of node 1, and this is the member configuration where we are going to specify the name of the server. Now we are going to run to create the member, create cluster member. Okay, now the cluster member has been created, so we are going to save the configuration. It is done. Similarly, we are going to create the second member as well. So this is again the cluster definition, my cluster. This is the node definition. It is going to belong to node 2. This is the name of the server, which is server 2. Let me copy it again. Right, and then I am going to create a second cluster member. It is created, and let me save it as well. It is saved. Now we can list the node information with this generic command. Sorry, let me take it again. You can see there are two nodes, node 1 and node 2. Okay, this is listing your node information. Correct. Now if you would like to list the individual node, then this is the command to list the individual node, which we have covered in the theoretical session. Correct. So we have created the cluster, and we have created the members of the cluster as well. Correct. Well, now we need to start the cluster. So when we are going to start the cluster, it is going to start all of the servers that we have in the cluster. So as of now, we have only 2 members there. Okay, so I am going to invoke this command to start my complete cluster. Okay, it has been initiated, and let me go back to the console and let me refresh the screen here. Now you can see we have 2 servers are created, right? Earlier there was no servers were there. This server 1 is belong to the node 1, and this server 2 belong to node 2, and both are part of my cluster. Correct. So that means our configuration has been configured, cluster is created, and the 2 servers on node 1 and node 2 are also created, which is part of the cluster. And from the backend, we have initiated the command to start the cluster as well. Okay, so that means it is going to take some time to start the cluster. Now you can see both the servers are up and running. Correct. So you can validate this with the help of command line as well. So this is the command to check the state of your cluster, which you can run from the DMGR. Sorry, let me copy it again. Okay, it is giving let me see what is the problem here. Print admin control dot get attribute admin control dot query, and then type cluster. Okay, and everything seems good. I don't know why it is giving error. Let me try it again. No valuable alternative or input admin control. Okay, I am giving the capital P here. It should be in the small p, not capital. Okay, now let me run it again. Now you can see the cluster state is running. That means your all the servers which is there inside the cluster are up and running. Correct. And these are the command to individually start stop the server or to check the status. Okay, for example, if I run this particular command for server 1, okay, and then this is going to show you here. So now we have the server 1 which is running on node 1, and server 2 running which is running on node 2. Okay, so this is my node 2, so you can check the process here as well. Grep, you can run the server 2. Okay, now you can say this is the second server process which is part of the cluster. And similarly, if I go to node 1 and if I check the process grep server 1, so this is the process of server 1. So that means our cluster has been created successfully, where server 1 is running on node 1, server 2 is running on node 2, and both are federated to DMGR. That means we can manage it with the help of DMGR console. So you can take the servers from here. You can initiate the command to stop the servers from here as well. Right, you can see the command has been initiated to stop the servers. Okay, it is partially stopped. It is in progress. So once it is stopped, you can start. Similarly, you can do the deployment from here as well. So once you will do the deployment, it will automatically deploy to both of your servers, which is part of your cluster. Right. So these are the individual commands. You can try all these commands as well. So let me quickly elaborate what the action plan that we have followed, or what exactly we have done in this exercise. We have configured the 2 node cluster of the WebSphere. Okay, so we have installed the WebSphere in both of the nodes. Then we have created the DMGR profile on node 1. Along with that, we have created a custom profile on node 1 for the application server. And then we have created a custom profile on node 2, right? And both the custom profiles we have federated to the DMGR so that it can be managed from the DMGR, right? And then we have created a cluster, and then we have created the 2 members which is part of the cluster, correct? And then we have started the cluster, and we can able to see we can manage the servers from the DMGR console, right? Similarly, you can start, you can deploy the application, and you can manage the centrally the complete configuration of your cluster. Thank you.